Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I'm going to do some cross promotion. Listen, us horror YouTubers and podcasters, we have to look out for each other. I think it's very important. I don't think we do that enough. So it's one thing I do. I love promoting and other great horror YouTubers and podcasters, and today I have one with us. He has a YouTube channel and a podcast, and it's called They Mostly Pod Out at Night. I have with me one of the hosts, Matt Van Bodengraven. Matt, welcome to the Horror Room.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited for this cross promotion because I completely agree. I want everyone and anyone to come on my show too because we're all in this together, as you stated.
100%, man. I mean, especially, I'm going to talk about your channel, but like you and I want to say we cross paths. We interview a lot of the same indie horror creators, and at the end of the day, we shine light on indie horror creators, which is a small little niche, circle. And I just feel like in general, indie horror creators, indie horror YouTubers, like if we have to grow together, and that's the only way it's going to work.
Oh yeah.
All right, brother. So tell us a little bit about They Mostly Pod Out at Night.
All right. I'll give you the quick overview of how that show came to be. My co-host, Salem, and I work professionally in our day jobs for about 7 years now together. And when we started working together, we immediately hit it off. And, we're also hardcore gamers as well.
Me too.
We play Destiny 2 like every week together. We've been doing it for years and years since COVID. Before COVID too, and we talk horror movies all the time. And we go, you know what? Why are we not recording this when we talk about horror movies? Because like a movie will come out and it'll be like we'll play even D&D together and stuff like that. A bunch of other people, and we go, hey, these horror movies came out. Did you guys see this? And it just kind of built from there. And I started being part of a Discord server from a bigger YouTube channel. I met some really cool people there, and I became integrated into their YouTube channel years ago now. And they go, you should do your own thing. So, yes. So that started the Mostly Pod Out at Night, mostly. And we just having a blast. We do it weekly. We've been doing it weekly for almost 3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. Or no, about 2.5. And even in October, we do one horror movie a night, all of October. So
nice.
We review 31 movies in 31 days in October. So we are busy, to say the least.
Now, when you do horror movies, do you mostly do indie horror movies? Do you do like the Tubi horrors, or do you go with the big name ones as well?
It really depends. We have different themes for our episode. We usually do about 3 or 4 movies an episode, and we'll like when Abigail came out in the theaters, we go, okay, hopefully this movie's good. Let's do vampire movies that don't suck.
Nice.
No.
I'm so good.
So yeah, this is kind of like we look at the calendar year that for the year that's coming out, and we start planning our episodes with movies that are coming out and find other themes that fit into these movies too. So we do brand new movies, but we also go back 100 years of horror movies too. So, first couple episodes were all about the Universal monsters and the, Penny Dreadfuls in the 1800s and how horror started to come to fruition.
Now, how do you? Okay, so I've been doing it for I think a year and like 4 months now. I'm fairly new to the game, even though I have a billion videos. But So how do you come up? Like, how do you and your partner brainstorm ideas? Like, because I think even for like me as a new YouTuber, coming up with new creative ideas is like one of the toughest things to do to gain your audience, but not only keep your audience interested, but also gain that new audience.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's that mixed bag, right? So we do spoiler-filled reviews of new movies that come out, and so then we fill in stuff like once a month. So we'll try to do like a director spotlight once a month or an actor spotlight and just fill in the movies that we missed. So we view it as a growing experience to watch new, to watch old and stuff because we're 2 old men And so we talk about like going to the old VHS rental stores back in the day, and if your rental store didn't have the movie, you never saw it because there wasn't internet.
Exactly.
So, and we are going back and using this as an excuse to go see movies or watch movies that we missed growing up.
See, I love that. So I kind of do the same thing that you guys do, but I do it on a Tubi level. Like there's so many on when it comes to Tubi. No, you go into the horror genre. There's so many fucking movies. There's so many movies. So like, if you're a horror fan, you don't even know where to fucking start.
Yes.
And what I do is, I do it every other week, but I do a Tubi Tuesday movie review, and I pick a random fucking movie, and it doesn't even matter what year the movie came out. It could have been something that came out in 2010. Like, I'm a huge gamer as well. I had no idea that Dead Space had a animated movie.
Extinction, I believe it was. Dead Space Extinction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to be doing a review of that. But I stopped down on Tubi. I was like, let me fucking watch this. But I'm like, maybe there's a whole bunch of people out there that don't know this even exists.
Yeah. We use Tubi as well, especially because some of these movies, especially older movies, are harder to find nowadays. So Tubi is what we've equated to is the new rental store. It's the new VHS that you're literally just, you pick out a movie by looking at the cover and reading those short 2 paragraphs on the back. And Tubi is the same version of that, but just bigger and better to that extent. So we view it as that medium. So they said we do a lot of bigger movies, but let's face it, OG horror movies were all independent at one point in time.
They're the best. Now, as a gamer, did you know that they made 2 Dead Rising movies?
Oh, really? About the shopping mall zombie.
The shopping mall.
Yeah. I forgot about those. It's been.
I never knew they're on fucking Tubi. I was like, whoa, like, huh? Like, well, how did I miss this? And I just feel like I feel like in the last couple of years, if it didn't come out in the movie theaters, there's so many movies that get missed.
Oh, for sure. And to your point, Tubi is fantastic. Doing this podcast and doing a couple other YouTube channels I'm also on, we interview indie comic book creators, independent artists, and stuff like that too. And about a year ago, they go, "Hey, we have a horror guy on our show," and they started booking independent horror creators onto the show. And one being some people from the Horror Dads.
I love the guys from Horror Dads.
Yes, which I'm now officially part of. So
sweet.
But we started doing that, and yeah, it's working with the Horror Dads and working with the independent horror creators that we've seen. It's really turned my eyes on the Tubi because now I'm helping make content to go on the Tubi. So now, it's a fantastic thing.
Yes, and listen, one thing I love about my show didn't start off this way. Listen, my show did not start off with me interviewing indie horror creators. I was doing reviews. I was kind of doing something similar to what you were doing. But I was also mixing in going to horror conventions and horror film locations. Yeah. And then, I started, long story short, I badmouthed somebody's film, and then they comment on my review, and they asked me to come on for an interview, and then boom, the interview thing started, and I was like, well, maybe I can still promote, or I can talk about indie filmmakers, but movies, but maybe not in a review way. Maybe I can actually get into their heads and find out who they are as a filmmaker, so the rest of the world can.
Yeah, and that's what spun off of our other show, our interview show, which is Conversations in the Void. It spawned off, and we talked to independent horror creators. And we, to your point, we use that channel to spotlight independent creators because we can be as hard as we want on M. Night Shyamalan. He's not going to say anything to us.
Exactly.
He's a big boy; he can take it. So we have done some independent movies with our reviews, and it has caught some attention of people. But like I said, we are harder on the big budget, $10 million movie companies because they have the money, they have the time They
Yes.
sometimes don't have the talent, and we see that talent with micro budgets, low budgets in the independent horror world. So we like to showcase that as its own separate thing, because we like talking to the people, the creators, even production designers, artists, because everyone has a story to tell about a movie that you may know. Okay, Heather Langenkamp is in, Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 3, and 6 or 7, but how do you know the production designer who made this truck scene possible in the semi truck scene, right? I got to talk to him. So it's a good way to get stories from people that aren't the big names in the horror world too.
I had Jan Birch on a show recently, and by the way, check out the interview. Great interview. He plays the Stairmaster in People Under the Stairs.
Okay.
And it's a random character that most people who've seen that movie probably forget about. But like, I remember like watching that movie and loving that movie as a kid. Yeah. And his character was so terrifying. I mean, he has his tongue cut out, but he was almost a good guy. He was also a hero too. Like, it kind of, his roles transform, and like to get to hear him talk about working with Wes Craven and what it was like when it was like that kind of stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's behind the scenes, so how the movies get made. That, like I said, yeah, I love hearing about too. I had out of the blue a couple months ago, Mick Strong, who did like production design on the fantastic 1994 Fantastic Four movie with Roger Corman, was on, but he also did Nightmare on Elm Street. He made David Arquette fly in Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. He did the opening blood scene at the rave in Blade. But he's a behind the scenes guy that no one's going there to, unfortunately, to see him and talk to him. So I love having people like that on the show too, just to get their stories out.
Now, what is the best interview that you've had so far? The one that like sticks on your mind, you're like, wow, I not only was the guest great, but you felt like you were at your best.
I would say it's going to be a tie between really two people. I had Jeffrey Wiseman, who replaced Crispin Glover in Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Nice.
And he did, he was in the remake of Twilight Zone. And so the movie in 1984 was opposite John Lithgow in The Terror at 10,000 Feet. And he's a character. He is on point. He is very energetic, chewing up the scenery while talking. And we probably went for about an hour. And our show is typically about 30 minutes. But if the conversation's good, if the flow is good, I go on as long as the person wants to be on the show, because I'm not going to go, oh, it's been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And second, like I said, it is David Cummings from the No Sleep podcast. He's been doing podcasts for 13 years now, almost 1,000 episodes.
Wow.
And he just happened to be in the chat on one of the other shows I do, because his friend, who's a voiceover actor, was on the other show that I did. I go, hey, you want to come on my show? He looked at the show. He's like, yeah, I like what you're doing. I'll come on. I go, okay, but he is the producer. He's the artistic mind behind it, but he's not the voiceover actor. Mm-hmm. And so him coming on there was talking to someone who's been doing this, 12 years longer than we have, and has the ins and outs of the industry, knowing that, okay, not everyone can be like them and have a creative team and be able to do this as their job all the time. It was a really just good insight for what you and I do with interviews and podcasts, and just to see someone who's been doing it for a longer period of time and their ups and downs and trials and tribulations, and to see their success to that level, like what we aspire to do.
Yeah, and I listen. That must be fucking awesome. That must be awesome. Now, have you ever had anyone that you saw watch your videos or comment on one of your videos or share one of your videos that you were like, wow, I can't believe that person saw my channel?
It's actually happened to me a couple days after Father's Day this year. An ex-Paramount producer reached out to me on Facebook, and he goes, hey, I know all these older horror icons. I like your show. You want them to come on. So now we are booking guests that are older horror icons. Mark Scheffler from Last House on the Left, who played Junior.
Nice.
Bennett Yallen, who wrote Dumb and Dumber 1 and 2, but also wrote Joyride 2. John Lanier, who did Jaws 2. And then Susan Lanier, who was Brenda in The Hills Have Eyes.
I've had her on my show. Excellent guest.
Yeah, we have her coming up, and I'm just excited because that means word of mouth is spreading. Because when I have people that do conventions and stuff like that, after I have them on the show, I'll get booked up for the next month, just from word of mouth. So to me, that's always my goal, is to have that booking out. Like I said, we are booking 3 or 4 months out at this point in time. That's our next available slot is 3 to 4 months out. So that's weird to see. And having some of these contacts I have on my phone, it's just mind-numbing. My wife's going, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just it's like, how are you getting these people? Like, I don't know, but I'm letting it happen. It's been a blast, and I wouldn't trade anything.
Like one of my popular series was the Face of Horror contest that was outside. Most people would probably know me as Face Horror Guy, but like this gaming contest came out with Kane Hodder. Mm-hmm. It's out again, and I did this whole 2 years worth of series on it, and I'm drawing a fucking blank on his name now, but the actor who played Art the Clown.
Yes, Damon.
No, he's the director.
He's
Thornton, right? Thornton something. Yeah. Him. Yes, I follow him on Facebook, and I saw that he shared one of my Face of Horror videos, and like he commented, and he was like, "What? If you watch this video, this guy points out blah, blah." I was like, "Oh my god, he is like." I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with just tagging people. Like, our first Christmas episode that we did Jack Frost 1 and 2, and Ginger Dead Man, just to do holiday and just come alive. And I posted this on Twitter, because I'll call it Twitter, I'm never calling it X. And the creator of Jack Frost replied back. He was like, I really appreciate you guys doing a show about my movie. Most people don't see about it or hear about it. And so I had like a creator of, some say notoriously bad horror movie, but I love it as it is. So it's weird sometimes what gets seen and what doesn't get seen in the world. So all you can do is tag people. Hopefully it takes off.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the other thing I need to do too. I keep hearing Twitter is the way to go. I keep hearing Twitter X, what the fuck's calling it. But I hear that is the way to go if you are a creator. I hear that they're more creator friendly. They don't hide your stuff like Facebook does, and like you can definitely get eyes on your stuff from people that you would never expect.
Oh yeah. It's just fun seeing the stuff that comes across my names of my shows that come out. I'm just going, I don't know how you heard about me, how you found me, but I'm glad you're here.
Yes. All right. So one thing I had to ask you, and this is something that, there's probably a new horror creator out there. I know I've in the last year and a half that I've been doing this, I've inspired a lot of individuals to become horror YouTube creators. Mm-hmm. And so there's probably some out there that's watching us right now. What is some advice that you could give them on their biggest thing, which is that, what is it, the 1,000 subscribers and the hours and this and that? What is the biggest thing that you can tell a new YouTube subscriber when it comes to getting an audience?
It's the same advice I've been told over and over by independent creators and stuff like that too, and I think this is true, is just be yourself. If you have, everyone has something to say, but if you be yourself, you be genuine, and you just, put some time into it. Yeah, it's time. It's cost money. Do you get money back? Not necessarily. For us, no. But, just do it. And just be consistent with it. Don't give up. Don't ever go, I'm not good enough, and become something that you're not. I think being true to yourself and just adhere to your standards is a good way to go forward, because eventually someone will find you. Word of mouth will happen. And you can get those subscribers counts up and stuff like that too. So like I said, just be persistent. Have at it. You don't want to be the guys that like, all right, subscribe in 5, 4. That the fakeness that exists. And I think that's great for like horror creators, is because if you have that realness about you, it will show in your interviews, in your discussions, and stuff like that too. It'll show your passion, and you're not just doing it for a quick paycheck that you think that you're gonna get.
I agree. Now, one advice I can give everyone too. By the way, I don't have a script. So most people think I'm working off of some kind of script, or I got notes or something. Literally, I have like this little whiteboard over here, and I literally have your name and what you're promoting. Right, that's all I have. That's all I go off of. And like, I could say something right now, and like in my beginning interviews, I was doing scripts, and you can tell I was going from a script because it sounded very robotic.
Right.
I don't use a script. I literally don't use a script. I'm having a conversation with someone, and if I get anybody interview, what's it called? You just pretend like you're having a conversation with someone. Pretend like you and that person are just having a beer at a bar, and you're getting to know each other, and it comes off genuine that way. It comes off interesting. It comes off fun, and sometimes you get your guests saying shit that they didn't want to say or normally wouldn't say.
Right.
And those are the best moments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. I have usually when I interview people, I do I do a lot of research, especially when they're for the movie. I make sure I watch all their stuff before coming on. I will have questions off to the side over here that maybe I want to get to. But if I'll just ask. I have fairly standard opening and closing questions, so we have just that opening and closing parts of the show. But everything else is a free for all for us too. I just go, hey, this person's on here. I want to ask this question. I'll ask a question, and the conversation will just go with the flow, and we just roll with it. Whatever happens, happens.
And by the way, I'm a subscriber of your show as well, and I'm a fan of your show. And yes, I do. You're welcome. I do watch your interviews, and like, I listen. I hear people say that I'm a great interviewer, and I think I'm a great interviewer. But like, sometimes I watch other YouTube channels and I watch other interviewers, and I'm like, maybe I am a good interviewer. But I must say, you and your partner, you guys are great interviewers. The flow just naturally gels. It doesn't seem like. Do you know how you watch some interview channels and there's like awkward pauses and shit? Yep. Like it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, is this planned, or like it just looks uncomfortable? And right. I am, and I'm gonna say wait, but I also like watch your channel, and it seems like you kind of do what I do. Sometimes you get those guests who A, are not good at being interviewed, or B, it's the first time, or C, they're just socially awkward, and you have to guide them and coach them through the interview. Like that's your job as the interviewer, and you guys do a great job at that.
Yeah, and we thank you. Like I said, I've been watching your stuff too, obviously, for this cross promotion that we're doing too. Yes. And obviously, I said we've crossed paths on multiple social media platforms. We know some of the same people. And it's just what I like to do. Yes, there's awkward interviews that you do, but it's just you get the person comfortable towards the end. They like to it's always nerve wracking when you're coming onto their show if you're not used to doing interviews. And I just want people to feel comfortable. That's what I said. Cussing's perfectly allowed. You can say anything you want as long as it's not like political on our show. Because we don't want to get canceled for whatever stuff that could happen, but we just like talking to people. That's what we do. People want to come and tell a story, but I will find that one thing about you that no one else has ever asked. So that's what I like to do, just to go, hey, you did all this other stuff, what about this over here? And they go, no one asked us about that.
Oh, see, I like that.
Let's talk about it then. If that's something you want to talk about, let's do it.
I like that, man. I like that. So, all right. One question for you.
Yes.
You don't have to give us a name. Mm-hmm. But what was the toughest interview you've ever done?
And
when I come on your show, I'll tell you mine. Okay.
if I say it out loud, the person will know who they are. I would say it's just an awkwardness of setting something up to be a big group show. We had a special planned show with a cast, director, writers, and stuff like that too. Everything seemed good. We did a special night for it, and one person showed up from the group. And like I said, I just did a special night. I'm just going. I mean, it is what it is. We rolled with it. Dude's awesome, but it kind of steered us away from doing really special nights and other things we do, because I do 3 other shows a week.
Yeah.
So juggling everything else like that is difficult at times, and now throw it in movie making onto my weekends too, and having to spend time with the wife and kids. It's just chaotic sometimes.
I can imagine, man. I can imagine. I mean, I'll tell you mine, man. Like,
yeah.
I mean, well, I'm not gonna tell you. It's not one in specific, but I'm pretty sure you've had these. It's the interview where the person overshares about what their project is, and then you try to stop them because you're like, well, who's going to buy your book or your movie if you're literally telling them beginning, middle, and I mean, they literally tell you everything about their project. And I'm like, oh, stop. But they keep on going, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, stop. Like, who is going to, you literally tell them detail from detail what is in your book. Like, you got to leave a little mystery. But I think listen, it's great to be excited about your project, but at the same time, you got to leave a little bit mystery. I do the ones, leave a little bit mysteries. So, like, those for me, I think, are the interviews. I've never really had an interview. I never really had a bad interview, per se. I mean, I've had individuals who had a bad internet connection, but that happens anyway if you're dealing with this. But, like, I would say individuals who I felt like were sabotaging their own projects and they didn't know they were doing it.
Right. And I get that. When I have someone promoting stuff, because you and I get screeners to movies that haven't been out yet, and we get to see it, to discuss it. And if you're going to discuss it with the creator or stuff like that, I go, without giving spoilers. I don't want any spoilers.
Exactly.
I want people to go see your shit and go read your shit. But like, I'll go, for example, Woodman from Josh Rucker. I got early screenings for that. And and have you seen that movie?
I have, yes. Woodman.
So the tent scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was on the show, I'm like, all right, without spoiling, let's talk about the tent scene. And he's like, yeah, that's a whole other story. I'm like, let's talk about it without spoiling anything. So it's hard to skate that line. When it's older projects, sure, we can talk about it, and that's where you get the behind the scenes stuff. You have new promotional stuff, as you said, like, keep the spoilers to a minimum if you can, just to promote it and say, hey, when it's out, go to this site, buy this DVD, buy this movie, get this book. So it's difficult sometimes.
Exactly. Now, I was talking about me spoiling. I'm talking about for the actual creators. They were spoiling for themselves. I was like, stop. No. I'm talking about the ending of your book. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, whoa. All right, Matt, listen, you've seen my show. I'm going to ask you 3 random horror questions.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
It's your opinion. Number 1, what is one to-be horror movie that you think most people have not seen that you think is the most amazing thing ever?
I'm going to go with Urban Nightmares.
I have not seen that.
It is. It was made before I was part of Horror Dads, and it's essentially kind of like a VHS type thing, but it's also dealing with podcasting and urban legends and stuff like that too. I think it's a good way to showcase different indie directors and making shorts that they don't necessarily have a place to put their shorts. So I'm excited for it. I think more people should watch it.
Urban Nightmares. I'm putting it on my list.
I may have watched it way too many times because I did the transcript for the subtitles for it. So.
Oh, sweet. All right, so I will be watching that. All right, second question.
Yes.
What is a horror franchise that you're absolutely fucking sick of?
There's two. We say it all the time on their show. Exorcist.
Okay.
Conjuring. Exorcist and The Conjuring.
Now, why The Exorcist? I mean, okay, listen. Look, are you talking about the Believer one, or are you talking about one through
entire
3?
Franchise?
Really?
Entire franchise. Yeah. This is always our controversial take. We understand that The Exorcist was a fantastic movie for its time. Now, when you have younger generations, people younger than us in their 20s that didn't grow up in that time frame and still saying that The Exorcist is the scariest movie ever made, to them, they're just parodying what other people say. In our opinion here on the show. Because if you're not religious, Exorcist isn't scary. Hands down.
True.
But for that point in time, it was good for that point in time. Does that need to be the scariest movie after 50 years still? No. I don't think
I can get that.
Then that's obviously Exorcist 2, which no one wants to talk about.
But I like part 3 though. I did like part 3.
Part 3 wasn't. It was a film. It was a noir.
Yes.
It wasn't an Exorcist film. It was noir. So that one we give a pass. We like that one. But then you had Dominion, and then Exorcist Beginning, which was the same movie cut twice. It's 2 different movies.
Mm-hmm.
And The Believer was atrocious.
Oh, that was horrible. That was actually. I knew that was gonna be horrible. I just fucking knew that was gonna be horrible. I knew.
Right.
The Conjuring, I totally agree with you. Okay, so I totally agree with you with The Conjuring. The first 2, I like the first 2. After that, it's just, I mean, with the spinoffs and this and that, it's just got. It is definitely a cash grab.
Yes.
And I hear that they're making another one too. Like, It is, that series is definitely a cash grab series.
It's a $2 billion franchise.
Yeah, it is definitely a cash grab.
You know how many people have died in the Conjuring franchise? 9 movies.
How many?
3. No one dies.
No. It's fucking insane. So I thought you were going to say Texas. I thought you were going to say Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
My co-host would kill me if I said Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I mean, the first 2, and then the first remake where Jessica Biel, I think that's her name. Everything else is horrible in that series.
Yes and no. It has its ups and its downs. I think the positives outweigh the negatives for that franchise. I think, because especially the first one. The first one was indie horror at its finest.
Yes.
Did it get campy in 1986 for number 2? It did, but that was the point.
I liked it. Yes.
Did the third one, Leatherface, was it a product of the 90s? It was. The Generations give us the great stars of Matthew McConaughey and Renée Zellweger. Yeah, it did. It's like I said, it's a hit and miss bag, because if you have any franchise that's that long in the tooth, 51 years, it's going to have good and bad.
But how many movies is in that series? What's it, 9 now? Is it?
Yeah.
It's 9. Only 3 of those movies, only 3 out of 9 are watchable. So, I mean, that's not a good stat to me.
How many Hellraisers do you think are good out of the 11?
Well, how many? There's 11 Hellraisers?
Yeah.
Is it really? Hold on a second. Until there was the original 3, and then there was Judgment Day.
Well, there's number 4, which was the last one, with it's Hellraiser in space. And then you had ones that we call, this is our corn phrase, the Hellraiser syndrome, where they have a whole other movie, and they go, you know what? Let's throw Pinhead in here for 2 seconds, and now it's a Hellraiser movie.
All right, so listen, I like the first 3. I didn't know there was 11 Hellraisers.
Yeah.
I thought there was like 7. Okay, all right. So the first three I will put up there as okay, good, okay in the mix. The one in space, I think the one in space was about he was a descendant and you're following different time periods. It was like the time traveling Hellraiser. I actually enjoyed that one. Yes, everything else in between there was garbage, but I actually enjoyed the Hellraiser, the woman Hellraiser one that was on Hulu. The only thing, like, if I was going to give that movie a rating out of 5 stars, I would definitely, I would have gave it at least a 4 star, but I have to give it a 3 star, and the only reason I'm knocking down a whole fucking point off is because the main character or the final girl was so fucking annoying. I mean, she was so it was unbearable. She was unbearable.
Yeah, but I think that the new Hellraiser was back to its original form.
Yes.
It just got so convoluted and cheesy. Like I said, it was just, I have this movie. Here's Pinhead for $500. It's a Hellraiser movie. So they did that with 3 or 4 of them, and that's why we call it the Hellraiser syndrome. And Cloverfield has taken that Hellraiser syndrome to the new level.
Yes, it has. But maybe I feel the way I do about Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I love Leatherface. I love the character Leatherface more than I do Pinhead. Right? Mm-hmm. I love him as a character. And there are some great fucking movies in there. And the thing is, I've actually... Alright, so from the reboot on, I've seen everyone that was in the movie theaters, I actually paid. Even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, I paid the fucking $18, $20 to fucking see that piece of shit. Right? So I was so invested in those movies that I actually paid money to go see them in the theaters. And every single time, except for that Jessica Biel one, that I think it was 2003. Every single one of them has let me the fuck down, especially that 3D. Like that 3D one gives me nightmares on how bad it was, and it was just so fucking. It was. People keep saying Generations is the worst one in the series. Nah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D is the worst one in the series.
It is. I mean, it's that 2010s where we had that Texas Chainsaw 3D. We had the abysmal Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. We had the okay-ish Friday the 13th, and we just 2010s for slashers were just horrible.
Yeah, yeah. I still got the shitty poster that he gave free for that damn Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. Oh, that movie pissed me off. All right. Final question.
Yes.
Who is on your Mount Rushmore of horror villains?
Horror villains. I mean, Mount Rushmore or Sleeve?
Oh, nice. Who do we have on there?
You got Jason. You have, the Shape right here with his knife. Chucky. Can't really turn it that well, but Freddy and the orb from Phantasm.
Love it.
The upper sleeve is all Evil Dead. So
okay. so we got Myers, Jason, Freddy, and Chucky.
I think obviously they're the default answers, right? But you want a unknown villain that deserves more praise.
Mm-hmm.
Wishmaster.
So who are you replacing Wishmaster with?
I would say with probably let's go with Jason, Michael, Freddy for sure. Fourth one, probably be Wishmaster.
Okay. But you just got them talking about how great Leatherface was. You're not going to put him in the top 4?
No, it's because he's just a guy.
Okay. Okay.
He's been so inconsistent.
He has been. He really has been. This is such an inconsistent series. It really is. And I would say the same thing about the Predator series, but people want to debate me that Predator is not a horror movie. I totally think it's a horror movie. Horror series.
I think the first one is. I think.
I think the second one was definitely an action film.
So, and then
Okay.
you had Alien versus Predator 1 and 2.
Those were horror, I would
That's
say. Horror sci-fi.
yeah. I'd say Predator is more sci-fi just because it's just it's an alien that kills people sometimes.
But would you say Alien? But people put Alien into sci-fi though.
Yes,
Alien series.
absolutely.
So why wouldn't Predator be in the horror series if Alien is?
Oh, Alien sci-fi. I mean, the first Alien is horror. Aliens, pure action.
Alien 3 is definitely horror.
And that comes into the play too. Is Terminator horror movies?
The first one is.
Right. So I think all these things is their first ones are horror, and they turn into action. Unfortunately.
Yeah. True.
And let's face it, Prometheus and Alien, Covenant were philosophical movies more than anything else.
Yes, I agree. I just would like to see someone do. Well, actually, Prey, on Hulu too. The last Alien movie that was fucking good. I like that.
It was. And that's the debate I always have. I have a sci-fi leg of tattoos. I have a xenomorph and Predator on my sci-fi leg, and not my horror. So
nice. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. When I think of horror, I think of gruesome kills, some kind of monster, some kind of figure that's not human doing gruesome kills, and I think of Predator. Like the Predator and the Xenomorph have had some amazing fucking kills over. Okay, John Carpenter, The Thing, is that horror or sci-fi?
Sci-fi.
Really, you think so?
I think if you're listening to genres, first one would be sci-fi, second one would be horror, because it's an alien.
Yeah, but it's an alien that's fucking. Nah.
And here's the real quandary. Jurassic Park, what is it?
Jurassic Park's. I would guess a sci-fi.
So what's different than a dinosaur killing people? That's a species than an alien killing people as a species.
But it's the nature of the movie. Like Jurassic Park is. I don't want to say it's family friendly, but it is. It's kind of family friendly. Like I remember being in the 5th grade and he took us to see The Lost World. Yeah. So they took us to see The Lost World in the 5th grade school trip, field trip. Like I'm pretty sure they wouldn't took us to see a Predator movie. You know what I mean?
So you're saying because of the rating, then it's not horror?
I don't think it's the rating. I think it's the violence. Yes, the rating, the violence.
And that's the thing. Violence. That's the thing. Are creature features horror movies?
Yes.
And to me, you go back to your classic Universal storylines, right? You have the undead. You have with Dracula. You have a con artist who goes invisible, and the Invisible Man is considered a horror movie.
100%. Yeah.
With really no kills. And you have Frankenstein, which is a scientific experiment gone wrong. What's Jurassic Park is not a scientific experiment gone wrong.
It is, but I don't see Jurassic Park. Okay, listen. I understand I understand what you're saying because Jaws is a fucking horror movie, right?
It is.
Consider Jaws?
Yeah, but it's a creature feature.
Yes, so I guess Jurassic Park is a horror film. I don't know. I still put Predator and Aliens into the horror movie.
I said absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with the first one. The second one, Aliens, was all about shooting things. So
it was an action movie. But yeah, I just hope they make a great. I would like to see a great Predator and an Alien movie before I die. That's I'm listen. There's movies, there's series that I don't want to see them make another movie like Halloween. I'm a huge Halloween fan, huge Halloween fan. But after fucking Halloween ends, give me a break from Halloween. I'm willing to take a break from Halloween for a while. But like Alien and Predator, I crave to see a good one.
Did you
especially
like
Alien? Especially Alien.
Did you like Predators?
And which one was that?
Well, the convicts go to the different planet.
I enjoyed that one. Up until like the fucking end when spoiler alert, when he tries to do the Arnold Schwarzenegger gig in this, it was just like, huh? And then it left off at a cliffhanger too that really bothered me, that you knew that there wasn't going to be a sequel or anything. But I was excited for the Shane Black one. I actually saw it. That came out on my birthday, and I actually saw that in the theater because I was a huge Shane Black fan, and that fucking disappointed me so bad, man. It fucking, it killed me.
Oh yeah, I have high hopes for Alien Romulus because it's Fede Alvarez, right?
Yes.
So hopefully it's
listen. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Predator, Alien. Please, just give me one good one. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some indie film, especially Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I feel like there's some indie filmmaker that has a great idea to put Leatherface back on track. And I do an actual direct sequel of the first one. That's what I think. That's the way to go. Like, do a direct sequel of the first one. I don't know what that looks like, but do something like that. They tried to do it in part 3, but it made no sense.
Right.
So,
what would you have found footage? Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
See, that would be amazing. Like, I would like to see a found footage Halloween movie or any of those movies.
Yeah. Found footage Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so you only hear the chainsaw in the distance. You don't actually get to see it. People are wearing, let's say they're a bunch of vloggers, YouTubers that go investigate the old house that thing's abandoned, and it's Leatherface's house.
See, that's a great idea. Do that. Do thing. I think the people who are making these movies are overthinking it. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a simple idea. It was such a simple idea. And, it didn't have the blood. It had the gores. It was just so simple. And that's what made it so good. Do something simple. Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple, and I think you can make something. You don't need a bus scene where you're killing, which even though that's a great fucking kill scene, you don't need a bus scene where you're killing a whole bunch of people. You don't need Sarah Hardesty coming back and as a sheriff. You don't need that crazy shit. Like, just crazy family in a fucking house. People come, they get murdered. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple.
You know what I think would be a good person to do Texas Chainsaw?
Who?
Rob Zombie. He already has the mess up family vibe in every movie he does.
Yeah. And he's great at making like rednecks too. Like he like characters. So I could see that. And even though I'm not a Rob Zombie fan, he's a Rob Zombie fan. Okay, listen. If Rob Zombie put a Texas Chainsaw Massacre over there, I would watch it. Yeah. I would watch it.
And he likes saying stuff in the 70s, so I think he'd be perfect for it.
Yes. Listen, at this point, somebody, please give me one good Texas Chainsaw Massacre before I die. All right, Matt, where can everyone find you, my friend?
You can follow me at the tags here at Pod Out at Night. Make sure to check it out. We have links on Instagram, on Twitter, on our YouTube is Pod Out at Night as well. Make sure to check that out and follow us on everything we do. You'll see only my face on everything, because my co-host is Enigma. He's a riddle. He's a puzzle. So no one knows what he really looks like.
Nice. And everybody also go into the description, and the YouTube channel is there. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that shit. Watch it. It's good stuff. If you like my channel, you definitely like their channel. Matt, this has been fun, man. I'm looking forward to coming on your show. When is it?
Yes, I'm excited. I think next month. I can pull up my calendar real fast.
Anyway,
pretty sure. Yeah, we'll get it straightened out. This cross promotion stuff, man.
Yeah,
you gotta support each other in what we do.
Yes. So look out, look out. You're gonna see me get interviewed. By the way, I not only am I a great interviewer, I am one of the best. If you want a great interview, this guy is a fucking guy to get on your show. So it's going to be a fun fucking interview. Ask me whatever fucking question you want to ask. I'm an open fucking book.
All right. I'll hold you to it.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and that is Matt Van Bo drinking. Shit. I had it too the first time.
And this one I just go by Graveyard.
Yes, Graveyard. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.